What is going on, everyone? It's Sean O'Connell, the managing director here at CinemaBlend, and we are, believe it or not, nearing the end of our marathon run through every single episode of Game of Thrones before Season 8 begins. We are in Season 7. We are at Episode 3. I'm told it's called The Queen's Justice, and what I find really interesting about that is that in a show where we've largely seen kings competing for the Iron Throne, we actually have two legitimate queens who one is sitting on it right now in Cersei and one in Daenerys that is mounting an attack. So I'm going to dive in. You're going to go down. You're going to hit subscribe. You're going to turn on your notifications so that even when the Game of Thrones binge ends, you will be able to keep up with our reactions to each of the new episodes in Season 8 and, of course, to all of the entertainment videos that we post here on the channel. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate your support. So without further ado, The Queen's Justice, which is Episode 3 of Season 7. Here is a meeting seasons in the making.
I believe we lost sight of each other at the top of the wall.
You were pissing off the edge, if I remember right.
John with the Dothraki for the first time.
And Sansa, I hear she's alive and well.
She is.
She's much smarter than she lets on.
She's starting to let on.
Good. At some point, I want to hear how a Night's Watch recruit became king in the north.
As long as you tell me how a Lannister became hand to Daenerys Targaryen.
Good stories.
Long and bloody tale. To be honest, I was drunk for most of it. Stark men don't fare well when they travel south.
But I'm not a Stark.
I've brought ice and fire together.
I don't think you should return to Westeros.
Oh, I will return, dear Spider.
My lady.
I have to die in this strange country, just like you.
Well, that's some foreshadowing. Wow, this is a monumental moment.
You stand in the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the mother of dragons, the Khaleesi of the Great Grass Sea, the Unburnt, the breaker of chains.
This is Jon Snow. He's king in the north.
Thank you for traveling so far, my lord.
Jon Snow is king in the north, your grace. He's not a lord.
The last king in the north was Torrhen Stark, who bent the knee to my ancestor, Aegon Targaryen. So I assume, my lord, you're here to bend the knee.
I am not.
Then why are you here?
Because I need your help, and you need mine. Right now, you and I and Cersei and everyone else, we're children playing at a game screaming that the rules aren't fair.
You told me you liked this man.
I do.
In the time since he's met me, he's refused to call me queen, he's refused to bow, and now he's calling me a child.
Your Grace, everyone you know will die before winter's over if we don't defeat the enemy to the north.
As far as I can see, you are the enemy to the north.
I am not your enemy. If they get past the wall and we're squabbling amongst ourselves, we're finished.
I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms, and I will.
Great, but the dead are coming.
You'll be rolling over a graveyard.
If we don't put aside our enmities and band together, we will die. And then it doesn't matter whose skeleton sits on the Iron Throne.
That's my whole
You
point.
might as well kneel.
That's my
Swear
point.
your allegiance to Queen Daenerys. Help her to defeat my sister, and together our armies will protect the north.
There's no time for that. Am I your prisoner?
Not yet.
I couldn't save her. I tried.
You wouldn't be here if you tried.
Please accept this gift on behalf of all of your loyal subjects in the Iron Islands.
You shall have what your heart desires when the war is won.
Even though we're enemies, you and I understand the fury that drives you.
When my daughter was taken from me, my only daughter, I thought about having Sir Gregor crush your skull the way he did Oberyn's. I thought about having him crush your daughter's skull. No, it's just not right. Your daughter will die here in this cell.
And you'll watch.
And you will be here watching what she does. Make sure the guards change the torches every few hours. I don't want her to miss a thing. The Lannisters owe the Iron Man quite a lot of money, but Lannisters always pay their debts. To former slaves, or Dothraki, or dragons.
Your father's daughter, indeed.
Give me a fortnight, and when you return to Bravos, I swear to you, my debt will be paid in full.
How?
I came down here to brood over my failure to predict the Greyjoy attack. You're making it difficult. You look a lot better brooding than I do.
You probably don't believe me.
I do, actually.
You didn't before. Grumpkins and Snarks, you called them. Do you remember?
But then Mormont saw them, and you saw them.
And I trust the eyes of an honest man more than I trust what everybody knows.
People's minds aren't made for problems that large. White Walkers, the Night King, Army of the Dead. It's almost a relief to confront a comfortable, familiar monster like my sister.
Everyone told me to learn from my father's mistakes. Don't go south. And here I am.
For a reason, though,
Northern
John.
fool.
No, for a
Children are
reason.
not their fathers. Luckily for all of us. She protects people from monsters, just as you do. That's why she came here. And she's not about to head north to fight an enemy she's never seen on the word of a man she doesn't know. After a single meeting, it's not a reasonable thing to ask. So do you have anything reasonable to ask?
Dragon glass.
Yes, volcanic glass. Apparently, it can be turned into weapons.
I'd very much like to believe that Jon Snow is wrong. But a wise man once said that you should never believe a thing simply because you want to believe it.
Are you trying to present your own statements as ancient wisdom?
I would never do that
You've done it before.
to you.
People thought dragons were gone forever, but here they are. I will allow you to mine the dragon glass and forge weapons from it.
So you believe me then about the Night King and the Army of the Dead?
You'd better get to work, Jon Snow.
She doesn't not believe you. Please be Arya. Bran? What? Nice! Okay, I'll take that.
Hello, Sansa.
Oh, cool. Very good, very cool. Aww.
You're Lord of Winterfell now.
I can never be Lord of Winterfell.
I'm the three-eyed raven.
I'm the three-eyed raven.
I don't know what that means.
It's difficult to explain.
Yeah.
Try, please, for me.
You need several seasons.
It means I can see everything.
Bran.
I'm sorry for all that's happened to you. I'm sorry it had to happen here. It was so beautiful that night. And you were so beautiful. In your white wedding dress.
I knew it would kill me. Daenerys Stormborn convinced me otherwise. I owe my life. Her. And you.
Who forbade you or anyone to attempt to treat him?
I seem to remember you.
But you treated him anyway. How?
I read the book and followed the instructions.
Cersei believes my sole purpose in life is to destroy House Lannister. She will be ready.
Well, that's setting up a
No one has ever taken the rock.
fantastic battle. It's gonna happen
They
right
will
now.
see us coming. Many men will die, just as my father said they would. He built Casterly Rock as we know it, but he didn't build the sewers. That was beneath him. So he gave the job to the lowest person he could find, me. Casterly Rock is an impregnable fortress, but as a good friend of mine once said, give me 10 good men, and I'll impregnate the bitch.
Inkasonesko Sidri Himbezi.
Where are the rest of the Lannisters?
Oh boy.
And now the rains weep o'er our halls.
There are always lessons in failures.
Yes. You must be very wise by now. How will you do it? With that sword? That was Joffrey's sword, wasn't it? What did he call it?
Widow's Wail.
He really was a cunt, wasn't he? I did unspeakable things to protect my family. But your sister has done things I was incapable of imagining. That was my prize mistake. A failure of imagination. She's a monster, you do know that. You poor fool. She'll be the end of you. She's a disease. I regret my role in spreading it. You will too.
I think we're done here.
Will there be pain?
No, I made sure of that.
That's good. I'd hate to die like your son. Must have been horrible for you. As a king's guard, as a father, a shocking scene. Not at all what I intended. You see, I'd never seen the poison work before.
You are going out like a champ.
Tell Cersei. I wanted to know it was me.
Whew. Woo! Olenna! Olenna! Dang. So, Lady Olenna goes out like a champ. Just an absolute vengeful champ. And the game loses, to me, a significant player. I love Lady Olenna. I know my brilliant editors down below love Lady Olenna. She will be missed. Not that I ever thought she had a chance of being on the throne, but yeah, every time she entered a scene, she made it better. Instantly made it better. Just a tremendous character, an outstanding performance, and easily one of the highlights of this entire marathon. So the way that this season is moving, we rapidly go through stuff, right? Like I said it before, but in previous episodes, a battle at Casterly Rock and the Unsullied getting there and getting double crossed and realizing that they went the wrong direction. That would be multi-episodes, right? But instead we get it as a Tyrion monologue that plays out in real time. And it almost seems for a hot second that Tyrion's advice is going to help the Unsullied, and that each side is going to be able to chalk up a victory, because Cersei obviously got a victory by wiping out the Dornish fleet, and then it looked like Dany was going to get a victory by taking over Casterly Rock, but it turns out that Jaime and Cersei had sacrificed that fortress so that they could wipe out the Unsullied's fleet using Euron Greyjoy, and then also take over Highgarden. So Cersei's proving to be much better at this than Dany is. Euron brings Yara and the Sand Snakes to Cersei. The Cersei Vengeance Tour. Now we have Ellaria and her daughter locked up someplace, and the daughter's been poisoned, and Ellaria has to sit there and watch, because Cersei, as Lady Olenna says, Cersei is a monster, and she's going to be the death of everybody. Bran is back, reunites with Sansa. Sansa's a little weirded out by him because of his powers. And Jon, while he's with Dany, brokers a deal to start mining the Dragonglass, which is going to be important. He's going to be putting together weapons for the soldiers in the north to use against the potential battle against the White Walkers and the Night King when they come across. Tyrion had this interesting conversation with Jon, which is that Jon's sort of saying, like, how do I get people to believe in something that they can't see? And that's the root of faith in general, isn't it? And I like that Tyrion believes him, but also that he's got an uphill battle to climb, that Jon has an uphill battle to climb if he's going to win over everybody in the realm, so that they can bond together and fight, because they're still they're continuing to tear themselves apart as Dany and Cersei engage in the war that Jon is telling them is not important anymore. Like, stop fighting for this throne. We're playing kids' games. Dany gets upset because Jon essentially calls her a child. But when you've seen the White Walkers and when you've seen the Army of the Dead and that they're coming for you, you realize that the battle for the throne is not that important. And I brought this up in a previous episode of that, like, we as an audience understand by now that Jon's right and that the battle for the throne is insignificant and the real threat is what's coming from the north. So it's to me as a viewer interesting to see that the show is still committing to the fight for the throne and the battle between Dany and Cersei, and they're depleting each other's forces, which if they just listen to Jon, he could use all of their armies for the battle that's going to be more significant, which could be the rest of this season or might even be 8. I'm not quite sure how much we're going to get through in season 7, but we'll figure it out. We're going to come right back here with episode 4 of season 7. We will have 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then we'll be on track for the kickoff of season 8. So, again, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and we will see you back here shortly on CinemaBlend YouTube page.